Coming up in the news, the Ministry of Tourism spreading the word that Grand Bahama is open for business. The Ministry of Health concerned about COVID cases on 2 northern islands. And a popular cruise ferry optimistic that business will ramp up come summer 2021. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news with one major hotel property now open and another set to reopen later this month. Stakeholders in the industry are hoping for more positive news in the weeks ahead. But as we hear in this report, tourism officials say air and sea transport remain crucial to the hotel sector. Jamila Mizik reports.
General Manager at the Ministry of Tourism Grand Bahama, Stephen Johnson, expressing confidence that the ministry will get airlift back into Grand Bahama. He says at this time, they continue to spread the word that the country is open for business, adding that there are a number of opportunities for airlift and the cruise industry on the island. Johnson noting that they're pleased to hear of the return of Royal Caribbean Cruise Line and Carnival Cruise Line, as well as the current operations of Balearia Caribbean.
And we're really happy about Balearia. Balearia has been really good. The numbers have been solid in from out of Florida.
He says they're now looking at opportunities to tap into the Canadian market.
Canada has been having a rough time with their COVID cases increasing, but we hope to basically have the Canadian operator return back into Grand Bahama at some point. And that's obviously the Canadian operators have been a really big growth for Grand Bahama, and also Alpa Tours out of Italy. That might be a possibility of coming into Grand Bahama, but everything is day to day.
Johnson is optimistic that the industry will soon rebound, as there are signs that things are getting back to normal.
Taking into consideration that COVID is still with us, but yes, we are excited about future lift. You would have heard the minister talk about the airport in Grand Bahama. We're waiting to hear what's going to happen with that. But even without the airport being constructed or developed, there are opportunities for carriers to still come in. As you know, we have the fixed base operation, and so we're really just excited that people are putting heads in beds. Putting people back to work is so important for us.
And he's encouraging Grand Bahamians, especially those in the tourism sector, to be ready for what's to come.
Don't get overexcited, and basically do the research on their businesses, because this has been a long haul in Grand Bahama, from Dorian to now COVID, and I'm so happy that Grand Bahamians are able to overcome. But we really believe strong growth opportunities are ahead, especially in the cruise ship. Everything's not going to be back to normal immediately.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
And when it comes to sea arrivals, the fast ferry Balearia has been the only major contributor to tourism numbers on Grand Bahama. Operations began in the month of February. Tonight, the managing director says it has been rather slow up to this point, but he's optimistic that with the reopening of the local tourism sector, business will pick up. Managing Director of Balearia Caribbean, Mario Otero, says that since the resumption of sailing between Grand Bahama and the United States, passenger loads have been varied depending on the day of the week. He says that at this time, the island is recovering slowly, but they are looking forward to an increase during the summer months.
We just have the Easter time, and on Easter we were having better numbers than in the other sailings. But like I say, it's taking some time. We are hoping to increase some sailings. We were hoping to increase some sailings at this time, but unfortunately, the numbers are not yet that big for us to start increasing sailings. But we are looking forward for the summertime.
The company recently reintroduced their Bimini route. In comparison, he says that island is faring better than the island of Grand Bahama. However, he notes that their passenger load varies as well.
Basically, the weekends are more popular than other days, and also it's because of the Hilton. The hotel in Bimini is doing a great job advertising the destination all over the U.S. But like I say, depending on the dates, both routes of Freeport or Bimini are performing different. Yes.
Now, the Grand Lucayan Resort reopened their doors less than a month ago, and another major hotel is set to reopen later in the month of April. Otero says this is good news for the island.
So the Lighthouse Point is open already, so hopefully that will help the numbers. And Viva Windham, I think that is reopening soon. So also we are having some groups asking for both hotels, and that's great news. So hopefully we will have better numbers for May or June, and that's I think that we are going in the good direction.
He adds that the island has consistently offered great offshore excursions, and as more operators continue to reopen, Otero says he believes this will increase international interest.
Freeport was always providing great experiences, and they have a variety of different excursions and different things to do in Freeport. So we know that a lot of the tour operators that they were working with us before, as of right now, they are closed. But like I say, with the reopening of the hotels and having some more tourists traveling into the island, I think that we will see coming back all those tour operators.
Now, Otero is emphasizing that they are social distancing on board the vessel.
We do not have any number marked for any authorities at this time. Like I say, we were having reduced availability for us to perform social distancing on board the vessel.
Meanwhile, Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line is set to resume its service on June 2nd. The Florida-based company, which normally operates 2-night voyages from West Palm Beach, Florida to Freeport, Grand Bahama, suspended operations in March 2020 when the CDC issued its no-sail order due to the coronavirus pandemic. The cruise line also plans to relaunch its website this week with schedules, rates, and promotional offers for cruises on the Grand Classica ship. According to a statement issued by Bahamas Paradise, the vessel's capacity will be phased in when operations resume, with the Grand Classica offering a cruise and stay program, and the cruise line is currently working with several hotels and resorts on Grand Bahama and New Providence. Now to news from Abaco. The Ministry of Public Works coordinating a multi-agency operation today with the assistance and advice of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Bahamas Customs, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, Immigration, Bahamas Power and Light, and private sector partners in the unregulated community known as the Farm near Treasure Key, Abaco. The operation, according to a statement, resulted in the arrest of illegal immigrants and other persons who are suspected of being involved in various criminal offenses, the seizure of suspected stolen goods, and the disconnection of a large quantity of illegally operated generators and gas tanks. The illegally constructed access roadways were closed, and signs written in English and Creole were erected. Signs were also posted on illegally erected buildings. The sign warns inhabitants of the illegal prohibition of any new construction and of the intention of the government to demolish all of the illegally constructed buildings. The statement noting that police and defense force officers will maintain a presence in the area to enforce the regulations as officers of the Ministry of Public Works carry out their legal mandate during the upcoming weeks. Now, that video of the farm operation comes courtesy of Silbert Mills. Tonight, health officials are providing some additional information on COVID-19 concerns here in the northern Bahamas. Officials say they are paying close attention to trends with a view of a positive intervention. Italia Hall has more.
Health officials admit that COVID-19 cases in Abaco appears to be on the decline. Now, based on this decrease in cases, some have been calling for a review of the current 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily curfew. Health officials say they will review the data to see if the current restrictions can be reduced. But task force member Dr. Julian Bartlett says there are some additional concerns on that island, including an increase in positive antigen tests in Green Turtle Key.
Just recently, we had 6 cases in Guanaqui as a result of a construction company, their SMG. So we are watching that case those cases, those persons would have traveled into New Providence and subsequently been tested here. So they are now currently in New Providence. But then you have rapid travel between, as you know, New Providence and Abaco. So right now, that's a concern. We will keep that consideration under careful watch. Also, throughout Abaco, persons move from settlement to settlement in Abaco. So north goes to central, central goes to south. So just recently, we have seen some cases in South Abaco as well as the case in Morris Island as a result of the movement. And hence, that's why we keep saying about the public health measures, because as you move, then you transmit the virus.
Now, on the island of Bimini, a 74-year-old man diagnosed with COVID-19 was unable to be airlifted to New Providence for medical attention because of a weight restriction for the pods used to transport COVID-19 patients. He later died.
There is a weight restriction with respect to the isopods. That is 270 pounds. And so persons who exceed that weight limit, the pod will not be able to afford the protection of the other persons who would be traveling in that same vessel, whether that vessel is an airplane or a boat, if the pod is not secured based on the programmed weight limit.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. Pearl Macmillan calling the turn of events an unfortunate situation.
It sheds light on the need for us to ensure that given our population geography, as well as our weight challenges that we have, we are seeking to determine exactly what would be the best way to accommodate a patient that we have in a particular island where we are unable to use the pod that is purchased to bring individuals in from that particular island.
She adds that going forward, the health team will seek to determine the best way to deal with a similar situation in the future.
To manage persons beyond the weight limit of the pods, and certainly all efforts are being put forward to determine exactly how we will do that in the shortest time to prevent us from being in that position again in the Ministry of Health.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
And now to the latest COVID-19 stats. 43 new COVID-19 cases were reported yesterday. Grand Bahama reporting 12, New Providence 27, 1 each in Abaco and the Berry Islands, and 2 in Eleuthera. Hospitalizations on Grand Bahama has declined, with 6 moderately ill and 25 hospitalized cases in New Providence, 4 of whom are in ICU. Active cases stand at 280. Total recovered 8,814. Meantime, health officials encouraging everyone to observe important health protocols and the COVID-19 vaccine as a means to limit the spread of the virus. And more tributes coming in on the passing of a former chief counselor for East Grand Bahama, businessman Captain Philip Thomas Sr. Thomas, an outspoken advocate for the people of the East End community, passed away 1 week ago at the age of 56. Ramiko Knowles reports.
We will miss him, and we pray that his soul is resting.
Pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church in East Grand Bahama, Patterson Ballou, says he and Philip Thomas Sr. were friends from childhood days. He describes him as a strong, courageous individual who loved God and East Grand Bahama. The pastor says it will be hard to find a man like Thomas Sr. in East Grand Bahama.
It is a moment for us in East End Grand Bahama for us to reflect after all we've gone through, and then at this time to lose one of our very strong, energetic businessmen, community-minded, a legend, a hero of the Order of East End Grand Bahama.
And as they grew, Ballou says they both became community leaders. He says he's going to miss the times they shared together.
Him and I basically started the sculling contest, boat race, in which I always beat him, and because I was trained by one of the best, Vincent Bevins and yours truly and Philip, we all was in competition. He went on to become the Concracking champion, And he always rivaled against me for the sculling race, which I always beat him.
He adds that Philip Thomas Sr. will be remembered for his love for senior members of the community.
On occasion, he will always ask, how is Nadine Feaster, how is Millie, the senior folks. He played a part in it, and they all love him. And he stood as a gem for us and a life. You will not find another person in McLeanstown that you can go to any time of the day, any hour of the day. Say, Philip, I need help, I need assistance. Philip never turned down anyone.
He recalls speaking to Philip Thomas Sr. days before his passing, and as a man of faith, Ballou says he would always ask him for their devotionals.
On his days in the hospital, I called him, I talked to him, I couldn't hear me, I couldn't hear his voice well, but he wanted his daily bread. His wife said, his daily bread is right here. And so, we are challenged because we've lost him, and he wants to see the best for his community. And whether you were PLP, whether you were FNM, or whether you DNA, Philip did not matter. His way of support and help was there to see that East End received the best.
The pastor extends heartfelt condolences to his wife and family on the passing of Philip Thomas Sr.
Captain Phil, we'll miss you. Brother Phil, we miss you. Uncle Phil, we miss you. And the entire East End grandma will miss you. But you've gone from labor to reward, and we pray that the things that you want to see accomplished, you didn't want to accomplish, but we hope that we can accomplish those things and making East End Grand Bahama a better place. You've done your part, and heaven will surely be waited up.
Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. There's more news right after this break.